The Grumpiest Dungeon Keeper Met the Most Annoying Princess. Episode 1. The dungeon was never truly silent. It breathed in low, damp currents, exhaling the chill of ancient stone and rusted iron. Torchlight wavered along the walls, bending shadows into long, crooked shapes that clung to the floor like memories that refused to fade. Chains swayed gently, not from movement, but from habit, as though the dungeon itself remembered when things struggled. Garrick Stonejaw stood at the heart of it, sharpening his axe. The steady rasp of steel against whetstone grounded him. He liked the sound. It was honest, predictable. If you cared for a blade long enough, it rewarded you. It didn't lie. It didn't beg. It didn't scream unless you made it. A scream echoed down the corridor anyway. Garrick did not look up. "Pace yourself," he said mildly. "You'll wear your throat raw before sunset." The scream dissolved into a hoarse snarl. Better. Then came footsteps. Light ones. Unhurried. Garrick frowned and finally lifted his gaze. A girl descended the stone steps as though they were part of a palace staircase rather than a path into darkness. Her crown sat crooked atop dark curls that bounced freely around her shoulders. Her dress, blue, embroidered in silver thread, was already smudged at the hem, and tiny bells chimed softly at her ankles with every step. Princess Eloan smiled when she saw him. "Oh good," she said. "You're here." Garrick stared at her for a long moment, the whetstone pausing against the blade. "No." She reached the bottom step and peered around with open curiosity. "It smells like wet history down here." "This is a dungeon," Garrick said. "You are not meant to be in it." "Yes," she replied easily. "That's why I came without permission." He pinched the bridge of his nose. "Turn around. Go back upstairs. Forget you ever saw this place." Eloan ignored him and wandered toward the nearest cell, crouching slightly to peer inside. Oh, she murmured. "Is that a cursed knight or a monster?" "Both," Garrick said. "And it bites." She leaned closer. Garrick slammed the haft of his axe against the stone floor. The crack echoed sharply through the chamber. "Princess." She jumped and looked back at him. "Yes. If you lose a finger," he said flatly. "I am not filing the paperwork." She straightened, unfazed. "Fair." He exhaled slowly. "Why are you here?" Eloan clasped her hands behind her back, rocking slightly on her heels. "I finished my lessons. All of them." "Yes." "Even diplomacy?" "Yes." "Etiquette?" "Yes." "The long, dull art of pretending not to be bored?" She grimaced. "Twice." Garrick studied her, then gave a tired nod. "That explains it." She brightened. "You understand." "I am exhausted," he said. "You're also grumpy," Eloan added helpfully. Garrick stiffened. "I am not." "You are," she continued unbothered. "The guards whisper about you. The cooks flinch when you enter a room. Father says you prefer solitude, which is what adults say when someone frightens them." Garrick's jaw tightened. "Your father is the king." "Yes." "And he sent you down here?" "No," she said cheerfully. "This was entirely my idea. That was worse. I have decided," Eloan announced, planting her feet, "to fix you." The dungeon seemed to pause around them. Then the ground trembled. A low, ancient roar rolled through the corridors. Runes carved into the iron bars flared red as chains strained violently against their anchors. Garrick moved before thought caught up to instinct. "Behind me," he ordered. Eloan obeyed without hesitation. The cursed knight burst free in a shower of sparks and iron, eyes blazing with corrupted light. Garrick surged forward, axe flashing as steel met steel. The impact rang through the dungeon like a struck bell. The knight swung wildly, rage-driven and clumsy. Garrick ducked beneath the blow, rolled across cold stone, and rose inside the creature's guard, slamming his shoulder into its chest. The impact sent the knight staggering backward. Then, something struck the creature square in the face. A shoe. Garrick froze mid-swing and turned. Eloan stood there on one foot, wide-eyed, her slipper missing. "It was distracting," she said. "It was." The knight reeled, snarling in confusion. Garrick didn't waste the moment. He drove the haft of his axe into the creature's knee, forcing it down, then slammed it backward into the cell. With practiced precision, he snapped the enchanted chains into place. Runes flared bright gold as the magic sealed shut once more. Silence returned, heavy and absolute. Garrick leaned on his axe, breathing hard. A laugh escaped him before he could stop it. Rough, unused, but real. Eloin gasped. You laughed. I did not. That was a laugh. I growled. She grinned. It sounded happy. He glanced at her. Don't tell anyone. She zipped her lips with an imaginary key. Dungeon secret. Garrick eyed the missing shoe now lying forlornly near the cell. You're going to get caught. Eventually, she agreed. But not today. She retrieved her slipper, dusted it off against her sleeve, and slipped it back on. Then she looked around again, slower this time. This place is lonely, she said quietly. Garrick stiffened. It's meant to be. Why? Because loneliness keeps monsters calm, he replied. And men focused. She considered that, head tilted. Is it working? Mostly. Eloin walked closer, stopping just short of him. You're very good at your job. He blinked. Compliments were rare. I know. But you don't have to be miserable while doing it. He snorted. Says the child with a crown. She smiled, soft and sudden. Says the child who has decided to visit you again. His heart sank. Again. Yes, she said brightly. Tomorrow. No. After lessons. Absolutely not. And I'll bring snacks. Garrick hesitated. What kind of snacks? Eloin beamed. The good kind. Honey cakes. The ones with the lemon glaze the cooks hide from father. She turned and skipped back toward the stairs before he could mount a proper defense. Halfway up, she paused and looked back. Oh, Garrick. What? You should smile more. It makes the dungeon less scary. Then she was gone. Bells fading into the upper corridors like mischievous laughter. Garrick stood alone once more, the dungeon settling around him with its familiar creaks and sighs. He looked down at his axe. Then, against his will and entirely in private, he smiled. Just a little, but it lingered far longer than he expected.
That's the tale for today. If you enjoyed the story, please give it a like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so the next story finds you. Thanks for listening, traveler. Until the next fire is lit, see you soon.